I don't know how it's even possible to have Russell Wilson continue to disappoint us, but he does yet again. And by doing so, he robs all of Denver fan base of a date we've had circled and highlighted on our calendar since the NFL schedule was released just a few months ago. We're going to break down why this matchup against the Steelers defense, while they're better on paper, actually really favors Sean Payton. We're going to break down some of Bo Nix's best throws, that and so much more, including some good injury news. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ben. I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan. If you have not stopped Bo-LIEVing yet, it would help me out a lot if you would like and subscribe. That helps the YouTube algorithm as well. Let's dive into the news of the day. So the big story is that Russell Wilson is out on Sunday, and it robs us of our chance, our glorious chance to see that Sean Payton was right all along. I don't know if there would have been something we were more excited about than Russell Wilson coming back to Denver week 2, our home opener. It was going to be electric. It was going to be incredible. And instead, it is Justin Fields. Now, there's a lot of rumors swirling. Is this truly because he really has calf soreness, or is this because the Steelers know that he's no longer a starting quarterback and they saw more in Justin Fields, and this is a way of kind of allowing him to save some face by doing this, even as we remember a couple years ago when Russ ended up on the injury report, maybe didn't need to be. I'm not going to speculate on that whatsoever, but I think the Denver Broncos have a really good matchup. Their defense against the Steelers offense. We know last year that Vance Joseph beat Justin Fields. I think he knows exactly how to scheme for him. If you take a look at Justin Fields' pass breakdown, again, just like Russell Wilson, all of his throws are outside of the number, and in the middle of the field, he does not even look towards. And so I think Vance Joseph, just like he did against Chicago a couple of years ago, is going to have that lockdown, and we're going to be in very good shape there. I also think you have a big drop-off there with receiver talent, that Pickens is good, but no way would you say he's as good as Metcalf. And I think Riley Moss stepped up. Obviously, Jaquan McMillian is a beast. I saw we put a ton of pressure with Jonathan Cooper, with Baron Browning, and so I think Steelers offense against Denver Broncos defense, that is a win for the Denver Broncos. So all eyes are obviously going to be on how does our offense match up against the Steelers defense. And so I want to show a couple plays that I think shows why we should not be panicking about Bo Nix. Yesterday, we showed that his numbers were better than Josh Allen's first start of his rookie year. His numbers were better than Caleb Williams' first start against a much worse defense than the Denver Broncos faced in the Seattle Seahawks. And so I'm not panicking whatsoever, and I'm still a diehard Bo-LIEVer in Bo Nix. And here are a couple reasons why. I think as the first half was winding down, with no timeouts left, there was a lot of people when I was on the live stream who were like, oh, I bet Sean Payton's just going to kneel the ball here. And he didn't, and he pushed the ball downfield. And I loved this here where you look where he's on like the 37-yard line and watching this back shoulder throw right here that he nails Joshua Reynolds on. Just a gorgeous throw right there. He's not wide open. That's pretty open in the NFL, but I think that was a great throw and really indicative of what he can be, and seeing kind of what his ceiling might be. It's higher than a lot of folks are giving him credit for. And looking here, I think here was another great play that really highlighted what Bo Nix can do in the NFL, again, against a very, very stout defensive front here. Watching his ability to step up into space and not step up and just run right away, but instead keep his eyes downfield as he's stepping up into the pocket to find Courtland Sutton. And if Courtland Sutton can figure out a way to get some yards after catch here, you're talking a massive gain there. So I think other quarterbacks, even Geno Smith, stepping up into the pocket like that would have just taken off for a much shorter gain. But instead, you see Bo Nix there step up and his ability to find a wide open Courtland Sutton. If Courtland doesn't go to the ground on this and is able to catch that ball standing up with his kind of speed, could he have caught the edge here and made something much bigger than just the first down that it was? But I think that's something I'm taking this as a win here for Bo Nix to step up into the pocket. Again, not roll out and self-sack himself by doing that, but again, finding where that hole is and then keeping his eyes downfield, I thought was fantastic. Now, a lot of people were just saying how the Mike McDonald defense really created havoc for the Broncos all day, and it's something I said coming into this week was that because the Mike McDonald system, the pressure can come from anywhere, and you never know, is it coming from the left or the right or the linebacker, or is the defensive tackle bringing the pressure? Where is it coming from? Different guys dropping back, different guys coming. And I think that is very, very clear that while they don't have the upper echelon talent that the Steelers do, the Steelers have a much more straightforward defense. And you got to worry about TJ Watt, obviously. You got to worry about their edge rushers, but their blitz packages are much more conventional. Sean Payton has years and years of film on how that looks, and I think this was a huge wild card for us coming into this. And so you were hoping that the Broncos were going to be able to figure it out by the end, and that it was going to all be in-game adjustments, but at the end of the day, there just wasn't enough time. I do think the Broncos moving the ball and scoring their first touchdown as the game was ending shows that they were kind of figuring things out, and that if Sean Payton played them in week 3, would he have more info and be able to figure that out and unlock that because of the extra info we had. But I think even this video here, even though this guy is like saying that this is putting our offense in hell, I think this here, while it shows the crazy ability of this Seattle defense to bring pressure from anywhere, it's actually a high spot for Bo Nix, because I just know exactly how this play would have ended if that was Russell Wilson, or even if that was Caleb Williams, that would have been a sack. We saw Caleb Williams get sacked almost exactly on that. And so you see here where, it looks like pressure's coming from this side, and so you see that it isn't, that we have some drop back there, and the pressure is actually there on Bo Nix's left, and he's able to move out, and that's not the tremendous loss that it would have been with other quarterbacks. So even a play that a lot of people are saying is putting the Broncos offense in hell, it really does show that the Denver Broncos have one of them ones in Bo Nix. I think the other thing that really stands out, having watched Monday Night Football last night, was multiple times I saw with both the 49ers and the Jets that there were a lot of guys who are pointing blame other places on their team, and they're not taking it on themselves. Like Aaron Rodgers is really the definition of this. Like, how many times last night Breece Hall fumbles and he snaps his helmet off and he just looks so angry. Someone doesn't run a route right and he's mad. Someone has a drop and he's mad. And then, Deebo Samuel missed a ball because it should have probably been put in front of him and it was right on him. It was a great play by the defender, and Deebo kind of shows up Brock Purdy, and he's like put like this in front of the whole world to see. And I just love that as the advanced analytics are coming out and Sean Payton is saying that loss wasn't on Bo Nix. I huddled all the receivers together and said, you got to help this dude out. Did we once hear Bo Nix say, oh man, the receivers really got to help me out, or my line has to block better? No, he was constantly looking inward, and that's the kind of leader that guys go follow. And that's why after he ran his touchdown in, you saw Cortland Sutton come up and give him a huge bro push, like, man, you're the man, dude. Like, let's go. I'm following you wherever you go. And I think that's because Bo Nix is a Tim Tebow-like leader with a much higher ceiling with arm talent and with his mental acuity for the game. And I think that's something we can be very, very excited about. So the people he could have thrown under the bus, without a doubt, we're seeing advanced analytics come out and just seeing the most pressure allowed. The Broncos are number 1 yesterday in pressures allowed. A lot of that actually is coming right up the middle with Forsythe. Now, I think a lot of this is because the Broncos didn't figure out the Mike McDonald system in time to block it. And I think we won't see this same type breakdown if Garrett Bowles is healthy and if Forsythe steps up. But did you one time hear Bo Nix say anything about his offensive line or how little time he had to throw? No, because he doesn't throw other people under the bus, because that's not what leaders do. I think on the other side here, looking at the least pressure allowed, and actually one of the most times to throw in the league was Fields last week. And we know going into the draft, the reason that Michael Penix was such a surprise was because the Falcons need help on defense, and we thought they were going to pick an edge rusher, and instead the Falcons picked Michael Penix. They don't have edge rushers like we do, and so expect these numbers next week to really flip. I think a whole week of game planning for TJ Watt and how we are going to identify and slow him down, and the fact that it's a much more straightforward defense. I do not think the Denver Broncos lead the league in most pressures allowed against Bo Nix next week, and I think that's why we actually have a shot. The other couple things, like if you're wanting to throw people under the bus, It's Strez, great account on Twitter. He does stuff on YouTube as well, but he came out and talked about how the running backs had 0 yards after contact last week. That right there, Bo Nix could have thrown that under the bus. Like, we need our running backs to step up. We also were the worst in the league when it came to yards after the catch for our receivers, in that when a receiver caught the ball, they would get 2.6 yards after the catch. That's just not acceptable when you're only throwing the ball on average. The average depth of target is 6.3. And so we really need somebody, whether it's our receivers to step up, it's our running back, and it's our offensive line. And I think they will, because you're hearing more and more Denver Broncos talk about the belief they have. Even hearing Sean Payton literally say the words, I think we're built for this. I really think that we will look back on this, and Seattle is going to be a much better team than we thought going into it. And I think the fact that he was scheming up for a rookie head coach with a brand new scheme and a brand new talent and no tape to compare that off is way more of a disadvantage than we thought coming into the game. And I guess we aren't going to see that for several weeks, but I think Bo Nix showed us enough, showing that his rookie first start numbers were better than Caleb Williams, even though he played a way harder defense, that his rookie first start numbers were better than John Elway, better than Josh Allen. I think that there's a lot to continue to believe in. The last big thing, and I think this will really determine what our chances are on Sunday, is that if Garrett Bowles is healthy, I think we have a real shot to upset the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday. We're 3-point dogs at home. Again, it's hard to find a game coming up that the Broncos are favored in, but I really do think we still have the talent. We proved that we have the talent on defense in that first half. We saw real big glimpses of what this offense could be under Bo Nix, and if Garrett Bowles is healthy, the Denver Broncos will shock the world and beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday, and that's something we can all believe in. Oh, man, I moved the chair. It's like a swivel.